Okay. The focus of my talk would be largely related to developing country context and specifically related to India. And I will touch upon EdTech, education technologies, even the non-sexy seniors, that is TV, radios, and paper-based tools in my talk. So I divide into 3 chapters. Chapter 1 is about rights and quality. So fundamental right to life was already there since 1950, and right to education was there since 1950. There were 3 cases, 1992, 93, 2000, when actually Supreme Court has awarded against right to life, right to education related judgments, right? But I think with Right to Education Act Article 21A, which happened in 2009, a good thing has happened, which is it has now become a law. It is enforceable, and now funds will be prioritized, right? The good part about this entire thing is that education has become a center stage debate after 2009 in India. And I think I look at from that positive aspect and not from the perspective of that will this change his plight, okay? Because ultimately the huge miles have to be walked on before we reach a milestone where everyone's plight would be changed. So there are challenges on the RT side. There are supply side challenges, which talks about infrastructure, providing toilets to girl students, because of which there are huge dropouts in girls, enough space for new labs, teacher-student ratio of 40:1, which is right now somewhere around 60-70:1, 800 to 1000 instructional hours, blah, 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 all those factors. So there are huge number of challenges on the supply side. I'm not getting into challenges that much. On the demand side also, there are very clear models. CREATE model is there, which talks about dropouts right from primary level till class 8, class 10, how students are dropping out because they're not interested and the learning environment is not conducive enough for them to learn. And their whole talk about pedagogy, which is based on vertical method versus horizontal method. Vertical method being teacher doing a monologue and students listening, versus collaboration-based activities, peer-based learning models, which has been spoken about, but on the ground, I think nothing much has been done till now. Okay. This is another interesting piece of data. Now, even if you overcome those challenges, 10% of class 4 students in top private schools in India still believe Mahatma Gandhi is alive. It is a good thing, because then Anna Hazare movement can happen very fast, but it's an unfortunate state of affairs. So these are top private schools in India that I'm talking about, where there are no constraints of quality, there is no constraint of heredity, where you're coming from IIM, IIT kind of background and all of that, but still believe that Mahatma Gandhi is still alive, right? 100% marks in CBSE. Now this is another thing about India, that CBSE conducts class 12th board examination, and after scoring even 100% marks in class 12th board examination, you have to appear for CBSE PMT examination to appear for medical exam. Now this is a mockery of, I would say, education system. Now the same board, why can't the same board have a uniform system of which is mapped to career, which is mapped to professional studies and all of that? So this is another aspect that we need to address from the quality front. This everyone has spoken about, PISA ranking. I'm not going to harp too much about it, but again, this is a very, very rude reminder, rude shock for us that quality wise we haven't improved much. This is another piece of data. 50% of class 8 students in top private schools feel that girls need not go to school. Right? We're talking about top private schools in India, and this is a study by QES that I'm talking about, Quality Education Services, so Wipro and education initiative studies that have done. ASER and PISA reports are also being referred to. So this was my first part, we're talking about rights and quality. Now I will jump to chapter 2, which is talking about technology and Buddha, so I'm connecting the two, right? So there is no debate, according to me, about developing country in India, that only way you can provide quality with scale is technology. Now we need to figure out how to bring in that technology. No one has figured it out yet. But we have to put our minds together in figuring out how technology can solve the problem of quality along with scale, and not one aspect alone, right? So there is training of teachers, which is top most agenda item. I think that's where we should have to start. There is on the other end self-learning collaboration activities for students. low-cost ICT solutions for classroom, technology systems. Again, I'm not going to get deeper into it. All of us know about this. This is what my big point is, that while we talk about new emerging technologies, we should not ignore our seniors, television, radio, and pen and paper-based tools. They have a lot to do if you have to achieve quality with scale. And we have to merge both, best of the both worlds, to achieve the end result of actually eradicating this, getting 100% GER in India, right? And that is where Buddha comes in. So I'm saying the middle path philosophy of Buddha. Look at all aspects of life. Don't be biased toward one piece of technology. Look at all data in a very impartial, unbiased fashion, and then arrive at solution. And that is what I'm calling the Buddha way of integrating the technology, right? Moving on to the third slide, which is just examples that are they are happening right and now, and they are not futures that I'm talking about. First example, Barefoot College in Rajasthan. Extremely good example. Only college in India where if you should have a PhD master, you're not invited. They don't give you a degree. You can walk in at that college any point of time, walk out any point of time. All they care for is whether you have learned in the process or not, whether you're useful to the community or not. And you have to contribute back to the community, and you can't earn more than $100 a month. And this is happening in Rajasthan right now, and it has spread now in all across India. And there's a gentleman called Bankar Roy, who is the founder of this organization, and is doing exceptional work, but he's not spoken about in the forums the way he should be. Second point, Pratham. Again, very good example of paper pen based technology tool. They have devised simple test of numeracy and literacy, 5 questions, 6 questions each. They've reached all 600 districts of India, all 6 lakh villages in India, and covered the entire gamut of stuff, which government hasn't been able to do till date, right? And they come out with studies that get quoted about quality standards. Class 5th student at a level of class 2 student reading, class 7 student at a level of class 2 students maths level. So all those kind of reports are coming from Pratham, which is again a brilliant example that India has, which should be spoken about. This is my own, our own company's product, which is there. You can see the trolley here. So this is again, the reason I put it from the perspective is a very interesting innovation. This is a trolley which can have 5 tablets within itself, and this is a trolley with 11 to 40 tablets. This trolley is now being piloted in a cluster in UP where there are 5 villages, and an entrepreneur teacher carries this trolley to all the 5 villages one day every week. And using tablets, and the reason I'm saying tablets is because with one charge, tablets give you 6 to 7 hours of battery life. So you charge it at night and then do a complete school day, come back, and then again charge it and do a complete school day next day. So these are the kind of models, again, companies like us who are doing it in India, right? So it's again be spoken about. Kingraju microfilm projector. Okay, this is a company called Design That Matters, founded by MIT Lab, ex-MIT Lab fellows. Nighttime literacy classes pilots in Mali have been done, and it's an excellent example of nighttime projectors. So you charge it during the daytime and you can run literacy classes using this particular projector. Again, technology is available, successfully piloted. Audio computer, $10 computer, and you can do a lot of stuff. Okay, so you can actually record, playback. It gives you slow audio kind of playback, which will be helpful in reading kind of stuff. You can answer multiple choice questions. So because screen is not there, that's why the cost is such a less thing, right? So again, you can look at these technologies to bring into developing countries from a big perspective, and use a standard battery. Okay. English is Fun program in Bihar, right? So 7 million students attending 65,000 primary schools in all 38 districts of Bihar. This program is currently running. Okay, half an hour program, 4 days a week. This is how it's being done. Radio is kept in the class. At least the minimum the students are getting, they're getting exposed to write English, right? So that much level of quality at least you can give, right? So this is happening, and in Bihar, I think Bihar is now emerging to be one of the leading states in India, not the backward one. This is another pilot which we did based, there is an organization called Planet Read, founded by I think I am Ahmedabad professor. So he did a same language subtitling technique. So movie Lagan movie song with subtitles, and suddenly students and adult people, they started learning the text. And then we did a pilot where we took Sholay movie clipping, and we dubbed it, and there are 3-4 parts in it, and we built basic vocabulary through Sholay movie. I'm saying these are the interesting examples that you can look at when you talk about motivating students. The intrinsic motivation, better pedagogies, all of that is encapsulated in this kind of an example. Right. This is Mexico's telesecundaria project. It's a television program which starts, so school starts at 8 a.m. They switch on the TV set for 15 minutes. There is a television show that happens. Post that, for 45 minutes, there is interaction within the class. And all you need is 3 classrooms and 3 teachers. Successful pilot, successfully done in Mexico right now. Another related project is in Brazil, which is Telecursos project. Again, this is a very different kind of program focused at vocational audience, job-oriented education, citizen education kind of program. The reason people hook onto this program is because it's being done in a commercial TV fashion. So there's a lot of humor in the program, and people are watching it just because it is interesting and nothing else. Right. Facebook farmer. So this has happened in India, Sangli district, Maharashtra. So the turmeric farmer in Sangli district, they suddenly found out that their prices are going down in the turmeric stuff. So this gentleman, Atul Salunke, he logged on to Facebook and he asked his AP fellow, Andhra Pradesh farmer, what should I do? And this guy suggested, stop selling your stuff in the mandi. As simple as this. And then through Facebook, he organized a movement, and on January 22nd, when the turmeric auction was supposed to happen, there was no farmer to auction the stuff. And after 10-15 days, or I think 20 days, their prices rose from 4 kg to 8 kg. Excellent example of how Facebook was used in India. Right. And this is my last slide on Farmville. I didn't have many successful examples on Farmville, but it seems to be a very good game-based approach or an exploratory approach for learning also. And it should be utilized for learning purpose. Right now, I think it's more towards gaming, so maybe we'll see more examples on the learning side from the Farmville project. Thanks.